It's Friday, March the 3rd, 2017, and this is your Barbados Today evening update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Now to the big story at this hour. Barbados has been hit by yet another downgrade. International rating agency Standard & Poor's today announced that it was lowering this country's long-term and local currency sovereign credit ratings to CCC+, down from B-. S&P is blaming Barbados' increased reliance on central bank financing of the still high government deficit and the fall in international reserves. Warning of a negative outlook, the agency said the current state of affairs reflected heightened challenges for policy implementation, the sustainability of the peg to the US dollar, and underpins expected weaker growth prospects in the country. In an immediate response, Chairman of the Private Sector Association of Barbados, Charles Herbert, said this downgrade is unfortunate. However, Herbert said he was pleased with the critical steps taken at today's full meeting of the social partnership. In fact, he believes the measures would help to restore the confidence needed to turn things around.
To this end, the full group agreed to form two subcommittees. One to address the decline in foreign exchange reserves, the other to address the fiscal deficit. And these two committees met immediately this afternoon and commenced work, and they have been mandated to make their first recommendations to the Prime Minister within 2 weeks. These are working groups that are meant to make recommendations to the Prime Minister, new recommendations every 2 weeks for implementation. Coming out of the meeting, we're disappointed to hear of the further downgrade to Barbados, but we think that even if we knew them, the action that we took at today's meeting would be the same, and that this is in fact timely action to address the downgrade, or to create the confidence that would change the downgrade at the next review.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Stuart will have an action plan before him in 2 weeks' time that addresses the vexing foreign reserves and fiscal deficit problems that are confronting the country. Stuart, who is chairman of the Social Partnership, made the disclosure during the opening of the meeting at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center this morning.
As a signal of the seriousness we attach to the two issues identified for discussion, two working groups are going to be announced, which will meet immediately after lunch to begin their own consultations on the issues of the foreign reserves and the fiscal deficit, with a view to reporting to the chairman of the Social Partnership in 2 weeks on actions that might be taken or should be taken to confront these two issues and the challenges which they have engendered.
At this morning's meeting, General Secretary of the Barbados Workers' Union, Tony Moore, said she was hoping for solutions to the fiscal challenges and related uncertainties looming over the economy.
We are more concerned with participating in mapping out a strategy that will define progress from where we are to where we want to be. For perhaps more serious than the economic crisis we now face is the crisis of confidence throughout Barbados. Government has a large role to play in restoring confidence, but the social partners, and certainly the Barbados Workers' Union, must not and will not renege on our responsibility to strive towards necessary improvements.
President of the Congress of Trade Unions and Staff Associations of Barbados, Cedric Murrell, he suggested that solutions to the debt problem, growth and productivity were urgent now more than ever before.
When we met in September last, we knew that the issues were urgent. I think today as we know that the resolve that we have is that what we do in order to be able to address those issues has got to be imminent and done.
Prime Minister of the Barbados National Youth Parliament, Roshana Trim, has resigned. Trim, who announced her resignation at the end of the sitting today, attributed her action to a number of fundamental issues, particularly a last-minute decision by the Ministry of Youth to remove all references to LGBT, which was contained in a youth resolution. In response, head of the gay community, Donya Pigott, said the removal was unfortunate, while applauding the youth Prime Minister for her resignation. In sport, the West Indies lost the first of their three-match one-day international against England in Antigua this afternoon by 45 runs.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Read all about it, read all about it. Get your paper. Only $2.25. Let's get your paper.
You again with that stale news from yesterday. I got the Barbados today on my phone and I just get my news for free.
What do she?
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
We're back with news from the region now, and it's sad news. Haiti's former President René Preval, an agronomist and champion of the poor, who served 2 terms as the country's leader, has died after suffering cardiac arrest. With a reputation as an honest and efficient administrator, Preval served as president from 1996 to 2001 and again in 2006 to 2011. He was 74. In more regional news, the St. Vincent registered inter-island vessel, the MV Persia, sank 8 miles off the south of Grenada today, but all the crew members were reported to have been saved. The 145-foot vessel is reported to have developed a leak as it made its way from Trinidad and Tobago. It had earlier stopped in Grenada. And on the global front, more Donald Trump advisors have come out saying they met with the Russian ambassador during the election campaign.
I just got off the phone with J.D. Gordon, who served as a national security advisor to the Trump campaign before the election. He's no longer with Donald Trump or the administration at this point. But he does tell me, Wolf, that over the summer at the Republican convention in Cleveland, that he did have a conversation with the Russian ambassador as well as other national security advisors for President, then candidate Trump at the time, Carter Page and Waleed Phares. They all met at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland for a gathering there. And then J.D. Gordon says he met again with the ambassador at a cocktail reception later on that evening in Cleveland. All of this going on during the Republican convention. And then Gordon says that he was a part of the effort that was pushed by the Trump campaign to put some language in the GOP platform that essentially said that the Republican Party did not advocate for arming the Ukrainians in their battle against those pro-Russian separatists. Of course, that was a big issue.
And that's news and sports, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, our screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Channel 99 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic weekend.